Yes, this is after the flag. The 2024 MotoGP season is up and running. A sensational race day here at the Losail International Circuit. We had a thrilling Moto3 race, a stark raving bonkers Moto2 race. Make sure you watch both of those if you haven't already. A MotoGP certainly delivered too on its opening full race night of 2024. Myself, Lewis Suddaby, and Simon Crafar will talk through all the major talking points of a season opener, which in many respects, if you were following testing, went to form. Pecco Bagnaia won it. He was certainly pushed for most of the race, but the world champion showing just exactly why that number one belongs on his Ducati.
Oh, totally. I have to admit to doubting him, coming into tonight's race. Just, like you said, testing, he was amazing, but we had such high levels of grip. And we've come back, we knew it would be different, and it shuffled the deck a little bit, And he struggled a bit yesterday. Talked about chatter, like Jorge Martin, like all the riders on the GP24. And then he just apparently found something in warm-up, like he so often does, and then kind of was absolute class today. I mean, even Brad said Pecco never made a mistake, and it's not easy to do. Amazing job.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because as we look at the first few corners of the race here, when you think of Pecco Bagnaia, it's easy to sort of characterise him as this cerebral, very intelligent rider, but he's got a ruthless killer streak when he needs it, and he needed it on this first lap. This was the key to the race, really, for him, to get the whole shot and get the lead early.
Yeah, and it was the plan. David Tardozzi more or less alluded to that. That was the plan. Get the clear air on the front tyre, get a gap and sit there, manage it, and not have to fight, not have to overheat front tyres following people. Also, when you overtake, you have to use more rear tyre to punch up next to them. You consume doing that, and he managed it amazingly. It's easy to underestimate Pecco, just how he is, and when he has a tough time in the weekend. But he's class, I think everyone in the field tonight will be thinking what I'm thinking, class.
Class act and a class world champion. He's going to certainly take some shifting in 2024. Well, a rider who certainly did his level best to try and take the race victory away from Pecco Bagnaia was Brad Binder, who finished in second place this evening for KTM. A pair of seconds this weekend for Brad Binder after chasing Jorge Martin all the way in the Tito Sprint last night. He certainly pushed Pecco Bagnaia all the way tonight. We can hear from our second place finisher. He's with Matt Burt.
Here to kick off 2024 in Qatar, second in the sprint last night, second tonight in a real tough Grand Prix. Last year we saw you with one of the few riders that could really take it to the Ducatis. It's been the case in the first round of this season. You really pushed Pecco hard, but you've got to be delighted with a couple of second place to kick off the new year.
Definitely. I'm a lot more happy with today's second than yesterday's, purely because I knew how crazy high our tyre wear was yesterday in the sprint. From our numbers, we just about polished the tyre in half race distance yesterday, so I knew I had to be extremely clever to make it to the end. And I ended up falling off a cliff with 2 laps to go, but we made it almost the whole way. So much better than I expected, to be honest. I tried everything to get as close as I could to Pecco. There was a stage where I started to pull in a little bit, and then I went straight in the fast rights, lost a ton of time again, tried again to come back, but every time I'd get a bit closer, he'd pull a bit more. So he did a great job. Hats off to him, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do at the next one.
Yeah, you pushed him so hard, and as you said, every time you sort of got that gap down to about 8 or 9 tenths, he was just able to respond, not by much. I mean, you got the perfect view behind him all night tonight. I mean, it didn't look like he made a single mistake. He was really perfect, Pecco.
Literally, I saw him deep once the entire race, and by deep I mean probably like 1 meter further than he should be. So did a good job, 100%. I mean, I've raced with him a lot over the last couple of years, and that's one of his real strong points. He can go to the front, be consistent, and he does a great job.
Brad, throughout winter testing, you felt really positive that KTM had made a big leap forward with the performance of this year's RC16. How important was it? How good is it for your confidence to know now in a race situation that you have definitely made that step in? KTM are coming, aren't they?
I'm really impressed with my guys. Honestly, I have the most incredible team behind me. They do a great job. The guys are working I don't know to what hour last night, getting everything ready for today. They made the small updates in every area, and it were all better. So, you know, I think when I have people like that behind me, it's just a matter of time until we figure it out.
I'm sure it is a matter of time. Great start to the new season. Brad, we'll see you in Portimao in a couple of weeks' time. Great job by you and the team. Well done.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, we certainly will. Second in the sprint, second in the main race. Thinking back to the last time we were here for the pre-season test, I remember you saying that you were slightly concerned, or we weren't quite sure where KTM were. They will take so many positives from tonight, even if they didn't quite have that extra last step.
You bang on, and it's exactly what I was thinking. At the test, we were, well, everyone was wondering where they were, much like 12 months before. And now we've had a race, we can clearly see where they are. And it was like I believed, you know, I really thought they would step up. Meaning KTM have made a step forward in all areas, every area, you know, and I'm talking engines faster. That engine is fast, you know, acceleration, torque, top speed, and then they've improved the front end of the bike. Brad is super happy with. He's got something he can fight the others with, overtake, and the aero's better. I think clearly now they're only missing a little bit of drive grip off the corners, accelerate, you know, to get that tyre to hook up and go like the Ducati does. And if they improve that even a little bit, Brad's going to win. You know, he will. And I fully believe that.
Yeah, we've still got an awful long way to go this season. Many different characteristics of circuits where you feel perhaps the KTM will come into its own. Portimao coming up next, where Jack Miller was so strong for much of the sprint last year. Brad Binder, we never really saw what he could do last year in Portimao because he had some pain in his neck. So plenty to be encouraged about for KTM. And while we're at it, on the subject of KTM, we have to talk about their newcomer, Pedro Acosta, who set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on his debut here tonight on the second lap of the race. Now, he was so entertaining early on. Well, first of all, talk about the positives for Pedro Acosta, because he doesn't seem like a rider who is in any way overawed. In fact, we'll come back to Pedro in a moment, because Jorge Martin is waiting to speak to us. Sprint winner yesterday and third here tonight. He's certainly up and running in 2024. He's with Matt.
Yeah, Jorge Martin, a really strong start to 2024. Jorge, pole position and the sprint win on another Super Saturday for you yesterday. A hard-fought and hard-earned third place night. You just said to us off camera, you feel like that's the best start you've ever made to a season in Grand Prix racing. So all in all, you've got to be very satisfied.
Yeah, I'm happy about the result. For sure, yesterday, if you ask me, I would say to be on the podium was going to be really tough. But today, maybe we had the potential to win. So, you know, I'm not 100% happy. I think if Pecco, maybe I was, let's say, I was too good in the tires at the beginning of the race, and then Pecco overtook me, and then everything changed a lot because I think my front pressure went a bit high. But yeah, I'm happy. The pace was fast. Two laps to go, I was able to make 2.7 to pull away from Mark and almost catch Brad. So yeah, I take the positives for Portimao. I think I am not riding at my 100% in terms of the package with the new bike. So I guess if we improve, I can be much more competitive.
Pecco's plan A was always going to be aggressive at the start. He was very aggressive in those first couple laps. Did you expect that?
Well, I expect that we were going to be a bit more calm, maybe the first laps, but as soon as he went on the front, he was pushing, not like hell, because we cannot because of the tires, but he was pushing a lot. I tried to be fast, but being good on the tires. Then I had the battle with Brad that wasn't helping at all. So yeah, I think I was able to. I could have been a bit faster, but you know, I'm happy, and hopefully we can be faster and in a better position in Portimao.
And you did have some tyre left crucially for those last couple of laps, Jorge, and you needed it, because never a comfortable position to beat in MotoGP when you see plus 0.293 on the pit ball. What's going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, at that point, you know, I had him like 10 laps, 0.3. But at some point, 2 to go, I said, okay, now it's time to push a little bit more. I was already on my 98%, so at that point I was 100%. I took my risk to go on the podium today, and you know, it was worth it. Let's see if in Portimao I can be, you know, with a bit more margin.
Jorge, you just said at the start of this interview that you still don't feel completely comfortable with this year's package, so that must make you feel very confident moving forward when there's still a lot more potential to come from you and the bike when you're pole position, sprint win, and on the podium. That bodes well for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. I think we demonstrate that the speed we have. But on one side, I am confident that when we have the bike at its 100%, we can be unbeatable. But on the other hand, I don't know when this is going to happen. So for the moment, we have vibrations. For example, I cannot use the rear brake. You know, there are some points where my strongest parts of the riding, I cannot use it. So let's wait. Let's let the engineers work, and I mean, I will do my part. Now they have to do theirs.
I'm sure you'll be there in Portimao. Great weekend, Jorge. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Sprint win, third place. It's not exactly a bad weekend, is it, for Jorge Martin? It felt like a night for maturity from Jorge Martin. If tonight's not your night, just make sure you finish on the podium and bank all the points you can. He's done that. He's only 3 points behind Pecco Bagnaia, although it's, of course, still very, very early on in the championship. And as he pointed out, there are still clearly major strides to be taken with him and the package, although he wasn't exactly certain that he's going to see them immediately.
Jorge really impressed me tonight. I knew that he could do that in the sprint. He had more trouble in the sprint, and I read that when I went to the debrief that he was worried about tonight, and I thought he was going to drop like a stone at the end, you know, and not be able to manage that tyre. And he proved me wrong. I really thought Mark would beat him to the last spot on the podium, and I said that to you in the car on the way here. And Mark didn't beat him. When it came down to the fight, Jorge had managed it so well. He did the fastest lap of his race with 1 lap to go, you know. It was, so what I'm saying is Jorge, we already knew he was super fast, absolute natural. But tonight, to me, he proved that he is clever as well. And that package means danger for the opposition, really.
Yeah, we thought, didn't we, in pre-season that Ducati had pretty much nailed it with the GP24, and they still might have done as the season's gone on. Of course, it won the race tonight, but clearly there are still areas that bike needs to improve upon, because this was a problem that they faced this weekend that they didn't see at any stage in testing. Yeah,
different track conditions, again, and it threw up different things, but it's chatter is the big problem, but they have more grip than anyone else, and chatter and grip, you know, high grip and chatter go hand in hand, you know. So, you know, you don't have chatter if you have big, you know, you're sliding everywhere. As soon as it gets high, you get that. And it's you know what I'm saying. It's because they're so good that they're having this problem, and it's going to be interesting to see them work it out. But we're going to come to different circuits, and things will change, and they might not have any.
Well, we'll see what happens in Portimao. Pecco Bagnaia will head there at the scene of course, his first sprint race double last year as the World Championship leader after a champion's ride tonight. Let's get his thoughts with Matt.
Yeah, the world champion made the perfect start to 2023 with a race win in the Grand Prix in Portimao. Fast forward 12 months, and he's made the perfect start on Sunday night here in Qatar. Pecco, that was absolutely brilliant. Well done. Superb job. Privileged to watch you do a job like that. It was all about the start and that very aggressive first lap. It looked like that was in your mind. You had to do that, and it looked like you executed that plan to absolute perfection.
Grazie mille. So happy overall. I had to say that the race of yesterday have helped me a lot to understand better the way to have performance with the new bike. Because yesterday I was competitive but struggling on remaining constant with the tires. So I just tried to do the opposite way, and it works. And also I want to say thanks to my team that from yesterday evening started to speak with me to understand which way to follow to have a little step with the setting. And finally we did it in the warm-up, and it works. So I'm very happy. It was important to be first already in the first laps, because I was knowing that our potential, that our performance was good enough to open a gap. So I did the maximum, and finally it worked. So I'm very happy.
And how happy were you with the move that you made on Jorge? Because he put a few on you at the end of last season, so it felt like there was maybe a little bit of revenge coming in.
It was the first time I think we had a battle together after last year. So it's just the first race, but after the battle in Misano, so I'm very happy about it.
What did you find? What did you learn in that sprint yesterday, which has made you so strong tonight?
Yesterday I was struggling because I was trying to do the lap time like I was doing in the test, and in the test was working maybe because the grip was more linear. But it wasn't working here. I started to have a lot of chattering and was a problem. So I just tried to be more smooth on everything, going fast, like similar to yesterday. And at the start, I just tried to be calm, understanding the situation, and then I started to push. And was good to understand already in the first weekend, because like right now we already know for the rest of the season. So happy, but we had to be calm, being calm.
Be honest, Brad followed you for pretty much the whole race, and he said he didn't see you make one single mistake. He pushed you really hard. Did you make a mistake out there tonight?
Yeah, one mistake, and I break it too hard on corner 6, and I was a bit wide. But apart that was everything perfect.
We'll let you off that one mistake. You're allowed one in a Grand Prix. Just quickly, Pekka, before you let you go, of course. You're the reigning world champion. It's all eyes on you. You've got that #1 plate once again. It's only the first Grand Prix of the season, but did you feel it was important to already show that you're going to be the man to beat again this year?
It's always important to win the race and to don't commit mistakes, but the season is very long, very, very long. So I don't want to be focused already on who is the leader, who is the prayer. Not the prayer. Not the prayer. The beast that follow the prey. I don't.
The vulture. The hunter.
So I was just. I want to enjoy everything, trying to improve every time, and I think it's the best way, because 39 races still.
40 left. 40 left. Yeah. I'm rubbish at maths, but I think I'm right. Yeah.
So it's very, very long.
Awesome job tonight. Great weekend. Enjoy the trip home, Pecco.
Pure class, wasn't it, from Pecco, Bagnaia, Ducati and Pecco collectively, proving again that even if they face problems later in the weekend, they're certainly adept at solving them. And Brad Binder's pretty good at reading a race, isn't he? He said he spotted one mistake from Pecco Bagnaia, and Pecco Bagnaia promptly backed him up.
Isn't that amazing that the riders can ride at that level, managing everything, you know, they're everything right on the edge of grip, and then spot one mistake from the rider ahead, meaning they're watching him as well all the way around. Incredible.
Hey, we spoke about it in pre-season testing as well, about Pecco Bagnaia specifically, and the maturity, the experience, of course, a 2 times world champion. We're looking at the moment at the best version of Pecco Bagnaia we've ever seen in MotoGP.
Yes, we are. And like I said earlier, it's really easy to underestimate him, but I think we're wrong too. And I don't know about all the viewers watching, but he's so likable as well. You can tell he's pure, honest. Yeah, great guy, great rider.
I'm sure a lot of the viewers have fallen in love with Pedro Acosta today if they were new to him. We briefly touched upon him earlier, so let's talk about him now. As mentioned, his MotoGP race debut tonight. He set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He finished 9th in the end. Let's first of all talk about the first half of his race before coming on to the second. Clearly in no way overawed with the opposition he was up against. Boy, he was entertaining to watch.
You know, he is outdone everything I thought was possible, you know, because... you know, tonight I think the point that impressed me the most was not that he was fast and being able to fight, because I was pretty sure that he was using more tyre to do it. And you can do that fighting the opposition if you're willing to use more tyre. But he was in the situation where he's following other riders. He didn't blow it, meaning didn't crash, you know, like... or run completely into the gravel with the aero, you know, in the braking area. He would have got hot tyres for the first time, you know, really following other people, following Mark, and got in trouble, like felt the lack of grip, and he still didn't crash, which would have been so easy to do. And yeah, he brought it home, and he was good, and he was fast, and he learnt. So, you know, he like they call him the sponge. Imagine what he's learnt tonight. He'll be angry with himself that he used more tyre. Now I understand, and I bet he's better next time out of the box. Amazing.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? And this is by no means a criticism of Pedro Acosta, because it was his first MotoGP race. In the first half of the race, did we see his talent, but also, I suppose, his inexperience?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's why I expected him to be better yesterday than today, because today is about managing so many things over the distance. And I think he did great. You've got to do it and experience it and make those mistakes to learn. And he's, even today, he really impressed me. He's done better at everything he's tried than I expected.
Two very quick points to touch upon before the press conference, because the riders are in here ready to get set up for the press conference. Marc Marquez, his first weekend. We were chatting about this also on the way to the circuit last night, all the way from the circuit after the sprint, and you used the words on target for Marc Marquez's first weekend. I guess today also ticks that box.
Completely. Mark is so on target, for everything he's kind of aimed at and everything. I thought if he achieves, he's on target to fight for the World Championship, and that's what I believe.
And I guess does the other big question that comes from tonight's Grand Prix tonight, after the sprint last night, are we all going away from Qatar wondering where Aprilia's race pace went?
Look, I said to you in the car on the way here that Alicia's the favourite, but he's dropped the ball before. Or him,
8th and 10th for Aprilia today.
Or Aprilia has, when they've been in this position, and they did it again. And I'm like quite disappointed, because I think Alicia, this was a big opportunity. He loves the circuit. The bike worked, and they were the best last night on tyre management, which I thought, so they should be there on paper. Everyone expected them to. Let's have a listen to his debrief, because maybe there was something else to the lack of result, but it's disappointing.
Well, keep an eye on MotoGP.com. We hope to hear from Aleix Espargaro later on to find out what happened. In 2 weeks' time, then we move on to Portimao for the second round of the season, the Portuguese Grand Prix on the Algarve. If you're watching us live on MotoGP.com, the press conference is up next. If not, we will see you in 2 weeks' time. If it's anything like this weekend, MotoGP in 2024 is going to be special. See you in 2 weeks.